You're watching Football Daily, where today we're counting down 10 players who ruined their careers. 10. Andriy Arshavin. The Russian burst onto the scene at Euro 2008 and earned himself a big money move to the Emirates the following January. 4 goals against Liverpool at Anfield and a winner against Barcelona are the highlights of his career in London. Arshavin was not what you'd call a hard worker and devoted his efforts to complaining about the squad and giving his opinion on women, who he said should be banned from smoking and driving. A poor spell at Zenit followed, and a 1-year contract at Kuban Krasnodar ended after just 6 months. 9. Emmanuel Adebayor. Another player who never seemed to try too hard, Emmanuel Adebayor is one of the most frustrating footballers in Europe. On his day, he's capable of looking like one of the best strikers in the world, but his day comes round about once every 4 years. 30 goals in a season at Arsenal took him to Manchester City and then Real Madrid, but the Togolese forward never broke 20 again and seemed more interested in padding his bank balance than getting on the field. 8. Adrian Mutu. Adrian Mutu was a €22 million signing for Chelsea in 2003. The Romanian had been banging them in at Parma, and it looked like the Blues were onto a winner when he scored 3 times in his first 4 games. But after just a year, Mutu had fallen out with Jose Mourinho and tested positive for cocaine use. The club released him and he was banned for 7 months and fined $20,000 by FIFA. Chelsea sued him for breach of contract, and 10 years later, Mutu still owes over €17 million in damages. 7. Adel Taarabt. Adel Taarabt is kind of like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but without the talent or the ability to diet. The former Spurs man had plenty of skill and plenty of self-confidence, claiming that Barcelona were pursuing him when he was at Queen's Park Rangers. Instead, he ended up in the Championship, getting fatter and lazier, before somehow conning Milan into taking him on loan. Immediately deciding he had made it, Taarabt shit-talked QPR in every interview, resulting in the termination of his contract in 2015. The Moroccan signed for Benfica on a free, but now 1.5 kilos overweight, he's only made the club's reserve team. 6. Samir Nasri. The Frenchman, once again, was an Arsene Wenger find, moving to Arsenal from Marseille in 2008. But Nasri felt he deserved to be paid more and agitated for a switch to Manchester City. There, he picked up $175,000 a week and a Premier League title in his first season, but over time he fell out of favour, with a string of injuries and competition in the squad pushing him out of the first team. 5. Jermaine Pennant. Jermaine Pennant set a transfer record for a trainee when he went to Arsenal for £2 million when he was just 15 years old. Pennant wasn't the best professional, turning up late to training and eventually going to prison when he was caught drunk driving when on loan at Birmingham. A year later, Liverpool inexplicably signed the felon, and he played all 90 minutes of the Reds' Champions League final defeat to AC Milan in 2007. But that was the high point in a career which slipped steadily downwards, with short spells in Spain, India and Wigan marred by a lack of professionalism. 4. Matt Le Tissier. Given that Matt Le Tissier is generally acknowledged as one of the finest players ever to have featured in the Premier League, it might seem odd that he's number 4 on our list. But Le Tiss gave up big moves to Chelsea and Manchester United to stick with Southampton, and he went on to play more than 500 times for the Saints, scoring more than 200 goals. Le Tissier was the first midfielder to net 100 times in the Premier League, and is still regarded as one of the best penalty takers ever, scoring 47 out of 48 from the spot. 3. Paul Gascoigne. No name is more associated with wasted talent than Paul Gascoigne. The England international was once called George Best without brains, and he shared the great man's taste for alcohol too, with drinking problems dogging him throughout his career. Occasionally brilliant, often a mess, Gascoigne at times seemed poised to achieve greatness, and constantly threatened to ruin his body and bank account with cocaine and gambling. A move to Lazio was doomed from the moment Gazza told the club chairman, "Your daughter has big tits," and these days he's in and out of rehab and the news every few months. 2. Michael Johnson. We often hear young English midfielders called the new Steven Gerrard, but back in 2008, then Manchester City manager Sven-Göran Eriksson said that he wouldn't swap Michael Johnson for the real thing. The young Johnson's hype is legendary. With powerful box-to-box running and mature decision-making, he seemed destined for stardom. Eriksson offered journalists £50 if Johnson didn't play for England in at least one World Cup, while the City fans nicknamed him FEC. Future England captain. A couple of injuries later and Johnson's career was all but over, as he missed training in favour of nights out, got fat and was arrested for drunk driving in 2012. The club cut him loose and Johnson, and his potential, became a sad memory. 1. Adriano. At number 1 is one-time Inter Milan hero Adriano. Though he played through the middle, he gave new meaning to the term wide player as his ballooning waistline hindered an otherwise promising career. After showcasing his amazing dribbling and smashing in goal after goal at Parma and Inter, the Brazilian earned the nickname of the Emperor, but soon he started to pack on the timber with clubbing and boozing. And despite winning 4 Scudetti with the Nerazzurri, his poor condition and attitude led to his departure in 2009. Since then, Adriano has found himself in trouble with Brazilian police after giving a motorbike to a drug dealer and apparently blew £13,000 on a night with 18 prostitutes after a move to Ligue 2 side Le Havre fell through.
So those were 10 players who completely ruined their career, but have we missed anyone out? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, head over to Eurofootball Daily, where we've counted down the 10 greatest ever Serie A defenders, featuring Cannavaro, Nesta, Maldini and loads more. And as ever, don't forget to like and subscribe.